You say you want progress, but you resist it. It sounds almost poetic, doesn't it? A contradiction wrapped in good intentions. Every man says he wants to change his life, to evolve, to reach that higher version of himself. But when a moment of truth comes, when discomfort knocks on the door, he hides behind routine, excuses, and distractions. Progress demands motion. Yet we cling to stillness, calling it stability. The modern world sells comfort as success. Every app, every algorithm, every service is designed to remove friction from your life. Instant delivery, instant entertainment, instant validation. But friction is the birthplace of strength. Without resistance, there is no muscle, no resilience, no identity. You want progress, but you resist the very thing that makes progress possible: struggle. Men today are drowning in convenience. Technology has made life easier, but not fuller. We scroll through digital victories while our real dreams wither. We convince ourselves that we're researching, preparing, planning, but deep down we're afraid. Afraid of failure, of rejection, of being seen as amateurs. The fear isn't of falling short, it's of starting it all. The average man in 2025 wakes up tired, overstimulated before breakfast, overwhelmed by the world before he's even stepped outside. Notifications dictate his mood. Expectations drain his confidence. He tells himself he's waiting for the right moment to act, but life doesn't hand out perfect moments. The more he waits, the heavier he becomes, not physically, but spiritually. And that's the weight you feel on your chest, the pressure of unused potential. Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly." The Stoics understood that transformation is not an event, but a daily discipline. They embraced hardship because they knew it sharpened their character. The samurai had a similar belief. The path of the warrior wasn't about glory, but about constant self-mastery through endurance and awareness. These men didn't worship comfort. They used discomfort as a forge. But here we are, in the age of abundance, softening under luxury and distraction. We have more tools than ever to grow, yet our spirits grow dull. The paradox of progress is that it demands discomfort. You cannot hold on to who you are and become who you're meant to be at the same time. Something has to die. The old habits, the old fears, the old stories. That's the cost of evolution. So let's reframe it. Progress isn't about climbing a mountain in one day. It's about moving one step forward even when your mind tells you to stay put. It's about trading the illusion of safety for the reality of growth. Each time you choose discomfort over ease, you declare war against stagnation. You reclaim your agency. In modern terms, progress means logging off when you'd rather scroll. It means going to the gym when your body says no. It means having that difficult conversation you've avoided. It means building something, even small, every single day. The Stoics had their journals. Today you have your phone, but it can be a tool or a trap. You decide which. Here's a practical exercise. Think about one area of your life you've been meaning to fix. Maybe it's your health, your career, your relationship, your focus. Now ask yourself this: what am I resisting? Write it down. Not just the surface excuses, but the real reasons. The fear of looking foolish, of losing control, of not being perfect. Expose it. Then take one small action today that contradicts that fear. Just one. If you do this consistently, you'll find that progress isn't a sudden leap. It's a daily defiance of resistance. You don't need a new morning routine or the latest productivity app. You need courage. The courage to begin when it's inconvenient. The courage to stay when it's uncomfortable. Progress is not the reward, it's the process. And the process will hurt. But pain is proof that you're alive, that you're moving, that something within you is shedding its old skin. The truth is, resistance never disappears. It grows with you. Every new level of life brings a new form of fear. The goal isn't to eliminate resistance, but to dance with it. To recognize that fear is not your enemy, but your teacher. The moment you stop running from it, you start growing through it. So when you catch yourself saying, "I want to change," listen closely. The part of you that speaks those words is your potential. The part of you that makes excuses is your past. Every day you choose which one to feed. Progress is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to settle. It's about peeling back layers of comfort until you find the fire again. That hunger, that defiance, that quiet knowing that you were meant for more. And when the music swells, when the lights fade, and it's just you sitting in silence, remember this: your growth won't announce itself. It will whisper through small victories, quiet sacrifices, unseen battles. That's where real progress lives. You say you want progress, but you resist it. Maybe it's time to stop resisting. Maybe it's time to start becoming. Progress doesn't wait, and neither should you. You say you want progress, but you resist it. You talk about change like it's a friend you'll meet tomorrow, yet every night you lie awake wishing life would feel different. This is the silent conflict of the modern man, the gap between who he is and who he could be. We live in a world of infinite opportunity, yet most men feel trapped, not by walls, but by their own hesitation. You see it in the way you scroll through success stories online. You feel that spark of motivation, that pulse of energy, but then it fades. Because deep down, a voice whispers, "That could never be me." And that voice, that small seed of doubt, becomes your prison. It convinces you that the world is too big, that you're too late, too tired, too average. But the truth is simpler. You've mistaken potential for permission. You don't need permission to change. You need movement. You need momentum. Yet modern life has conditioned you to think instead of act, to plan instead of risk. You want to feel ready, but readiness is a myth. No one feels ready before they change. The man who becomes something greater does so not because he feels confident, but because he moves despite fear. This is the pain of our generation. We are flooded with information, but starved of transformation. We chase the next idea, the next strategy, the next hack, but what we really crave is inner stability, a sense of self that can withstand uncertainty. You feel lost not because you lack direction, but because you've been taught to wait for clarity before acting. Clarity doesn't come first. Action does. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." It's a reminder from 2,000 years ago that thinking about change is not the same as living it. The Stoics believed that philosophy was a practice, not a theory. You didn't study virtue, you lived it in the chaos of daily life. Every morning was an opportunity to embody courage, patience, and discipline. That was progress, not grand gestures, but consistent effort. In today's world, that ancient principle still stands, though our battleground looks different. You're not fighting in an arena, you're fighting in your mind. Against the algorithms that feed you distraction. Against the comfort that lulls you into apathy. Against the comparison that kills your confidence. Every time you choose action over overthinking, you reclaim ground. You become a man who moves, not just one who dreams. So let's reframe what progress means for you now. It's not about being perfect or making radical overnight changes. It's about building momentum through small, deliberate actions that align with your values. If you want progress in fitness, it's not a new workout plan, it's showing up when you don't feel like it. If you want progress in purpose, it's not a viral idea, it's sitting in silence and listening to what matters. If you want progress in life, it's not motivation, it's consistency. Here's your exercise for this chapter. Choose one thing, just one that you've been procrastinating on because it feels too small to matter. Maybe it's sending that email, cleaning your workspace, or reading for 10 minutes. Do it today. And tomorrow, do another small thing. Track it. Watch how momentum builds. The goal isn't to feel different immediately. It's to become the kind of man who acts without waiting for the perfect mood or moment. We've been taught that growth is a grand event, but progress is quieter than that. It doesn't look cinematic in the moment. It looks like repetition. It feels like monotony. But inside that monotony, something profound is happening. You're rewiring your identity. You're proving to yourself that you can trust your own word. And that's where transformation begins. You see, progress is not external. It's internal alignment. It's when your actions finally match your words. When what you say you want is what you actually work for. When you stop negotiating with your excuses and start living by principle. That's when confidence grows, not from achievements, but from integrity. This world will always offer you distractions, comfort, and escape. But the man who thrives is the one who chooses discomfort with purpose over pleasure without meaning. That's your edge in a soft world. You don't need to be the strongest or the smartest. You just need to be consistent when others quit. Remember, even the smallest movement forward breaks the illusion of stagnation. You're not stuck, just scared. But fear is a compass, not a cage. It points to where your growth lives. When you follow it, you find freedom. So when you catch yourself hesitating, doubting, delaying, remember this. Progress doesn't need a grand announcement. It needs your next step. You won't always feel ready, and that's okay. Readiness is born from motion, not motivation. And when the lights dim, when the music swells in your story, remember this truth. Your life will not change because you wished it would. It will change because you moved, even when it hurt, even when no one noticed, even when you were scared. You say you want progress, but you resist it. Maybe it's time to stop asking for permission to evolve. Maybe it's time to stop waiting for the right moment. Because progress doesn't wait for you. It rewards the man who moves first. You say you want progress, but you resist it. Every man wants to evolve until evolution asks for something in return. Until it asks for time, for solitude, for discomfort, for patience. Progress sounds beautiful until it starts breaking the parts of you that cannot come with you. You want transformation, but not the tearing that comes before it. Yet that's the nature of progress. It destroys before it rebuilds. In this era of constant acceleration, men are losing touch with the process of slow transformation. Everything is instant. Results are expected overnight. And because we compare our beginnings to others' breakthroughs, we give up before the first chapter is even finished. We expect mastery without apprenticeship, strength without resistance, peace without struggle. But the truth is, progress doesn't come from speed. It comes from persistence. The modern man suffers not from lack of tools, but from lack of endurance. He burns out quickly because he's forgotten what slow, deliberate progress feels like. The gym feels too repetitive. The job feels too routine. The habits feel too boring. We crave dopamine, not discipline. But discipline is what builds destiny. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, and it's rarely applauded. Yet it's the quiet rhythm that turns potential into power. There's a reason ancient warriors trained daily in the same motions. There's a reason monks rise at dawn for the same rituals. It's not because they love routine, it's because they respect process. Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai, wrote, "You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain." His wisdom reminds us that progress is not linear, and it's not meant to be rushed. You master life the way a warrior masters his sword, through thousands of repetitions, through showing up when you don't feel like it, through quiet, unglamorous practice. But modern life has conditioned us to quit too soon. The moment something feels difficult, we assume it's wrong. The moment it feels uncomfortable, we assume it's not for us. That's the resistance. You say you want to grow, but the moment growth asks for your patience, your ego retreats. It tells you, this isn't working, or there must be a faster way. And so you start over. Again and again. Stuck in the loop of almost. The truth is, your progress is dying in the space between your intentions and your follow-through. Every time you abandon a plan halfway, you reinforce the belief that you're unreliable. Every time you quit early, you teach your mind that effort doesn't matter. But when you stay, when you persist despite boredom, despite doubt, something changes. You become dependable to yourself. And that's the foundation of true confidence, not results, but reliability. Let's reframe progress for a moment. It's not about speed, it's about direction. A man walking slowly toward his purpose is moving faster than a man sprinting in circles. Stop measuring how far you've gone by days or likes or views. Start measuring it by depth, how deeply you show up, how long you stay the course, how much of yourself you bring into each day. Here's your challenge for this chapter. Pick one thing in your life that you've been inconsistent with. It could be your fitness, your creative work, or a personal goal. Commit to showing up for 7 days straight, not to achieve a result, but to prove to yourself that you can stay. Don't track outcomes, track presence. When you feel bored, remind yourself that boredom is the gateway to mastery. When you feel unmotivated, remind yourself that discipline was built for days like this. Progress will always feel like repetition before it feels like revelation. You won't see results at first. You'll wonder if it's working. But that's the test. The universe hides transformation behind the wall of monotony because only the committed get to pass through. In a world obsessed with instant results, the man who can wait, who can persist, becomes unstoppable. Because he's not fueled by motivation, he's driven by mission. He doesn't need applause to keep going. His validation comes from within. His reward is progress itself. Remember this: slow is smooth, and smooth becomes fast. The seed doesn't sprout the day it's planted. The blacksmith doesn't master his craft in a week, and you won't evolve in a month. But if you stay the course, if you keep your eyes on the direction instead of the clock, time will start working for you, not against you. Progress is not about intensity, it's about consistency. You don't need to be the loudest, the strongest, or the fastest. You just need to be the one who doesn't stop. Because eventually, the man who refuses to quit becomes the man others cannot catch. And when the music rises, when the scene slows, picture this, years from now, looking back at the man you were today. The one who wanted to quit, who doubted himself, who felt stuck. You'll realize he was never weak. He was being refined. Every repetition, every small act of persistence was shaping the man you were meant to become. So stay the course. Let patience do its work. Let discipline carve its mark. You say you want progress, but you resist the wait. Don't. Embrace it. Because true progress is not in motion, but in devotion. Keep showing up. That's how mountains move. You say you want progress, but you resist it. You talk about change as if it's something that happens out there, a new job, a new city, a new relationship. But the truth is, progress begins in silence, in the uncomfortable stillness where you have to face yourself without distraction. Most men never go there. They fill the silence with noise, podcasts, scrolling, caffeine, music, anything to drown out the voice asking, "Who am I becoming?" You want to change your life, but you avoid your own reflection. Because reflection demands honesty. And honesty forces you to see the gap between your words and your actions. That's where resistance hides, in the lies you tell yourself to avoid the truth. The modern man is overstimulated but under-reflected, surrounded by information, yet starving for clarity. We live in a time when silence feels like a threat. The moment things get quiet, our minds panic. We reach for our phones like a lifeline. But silence is not the enemy, it's the gateway to growth. Because in silence, you can no longer perform. You can only face what's real. The Stoics understood this well. Seneca wrote, "Nothing, to my way of thinking, is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company." He was pointing at something timeless. Progress begins when you stop running from yourself. You can't evolve if you won't listen to what's broken within you. You can't build the future if you haven't faced the patterns that keep repeating. So let's be honest, your resistance isn't to change itself. It's to self-confrontation. Because deep change means letting go of parts of yourself that once protected you. The lazy version of you that kept you comfortable. The cynical version of you that called failure realism. The distracted version that hid behind busyness. They all served you once, but now they keep you small. Modern society doesn't make it easy to self-reflect. We're conditioned to consume instead of contemplate. Every free moment is an opportunity to escape into entertainment. But the men who truly progress, the ones who build, who lead, who find meaning, they learn to use silence as a weapon. They train their minds like warriors train their bodies. They carve stillness into their schedules because they know reflection breeds awareness, and awareness breeds mastery. Here's your exercise. For the next 3 mornings, spend 10 minutes in absolute silence before you look at your phone. No music, no screens, no stimulation. Just sit and breathe. Ask yourself one question. What am I resisting? Don't judge the answers. Just observe them. Maybe it's fear of starting something new. Maybe it's guilt for past mistakes. Maybe it's shame for wasted time. Whatever it is, bring it into the light. Because you cannot defeat what you won't face. When you start practicing stillness, you'll notice something interesting. Clarity doesn't shout. It whispers. Insights come not from chasing them, but from slowing down enough to hear them. The world will call this laziness, but the wise call it recalibration. In that quiet space, you reconnect with your principles, your purpose, your truth. You remember why you started. You realize progress isn't about adding more, It's often about removing what no longer fits. Think of it like this. If your mind is a garden, silence is the pruning. You cut away the weeds of distraction so that focus can grow. You remove the dead branches of ego so the humility can breathe. You make space for new thoughts to take root. This is inner engineering, not glamorous, not visible, but essential. In a world obsessed with movement, stillness is rebellion. To pause and think deeply is an act of courage. It separates the man who reacts from the man who creates. The man who chases everything from the man who builds something that lasts. Progress isn't just about doing more. It's about becoming more aware of what truly matters. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. The first time you sit in silence, your mind will resist. It will demand stimulation. It will throw old memories at you. It will make you restless. That's the detox. That's the noise leaving your system. The discomfort is the process working. If you can sit through it, you'll come out clearer, calmer, and stronger. You say you want progress, but you resist introspection. You think change comes from external shifts, but all transformation begins within. The gym builds your body, silence builds your mind. Both are disciplines. Both require effort. But only one teaches you who you are. When you strip away the noise, you'll find a man underneath, not perfect, but present. A man who's been waiting to be heard beneath the distractions and demands of life. Listen to him. That's your true self speaking. The one who isn't swayed by trends or fear. The one who's been asking for progress all along. And when the cinematic music swells, when you finally stop running, you'll realize something profound. Progress was never about becoming someone new. It was about coming home to yourself. The silence didn't take anything from you. It revealed what was already there. So sit with yourself. Face your reflection. Let the truth burn, then let it build. You say you want progress, but you resist the mirror. Stop resisting, because only the man who dares to look inward has the strength to move forward. Progress begins in the quiet. Don't run from it, rise from it. You say you want progress, but you resist it. You talk about success, strength, and purpose, but you still cling to comfort. And comfort, for a man, is a slow death disguised as peace. You want to grow, yet every decision you make is designed to avoid pain. You want discipline, but you fear discomfort. You want to become something more, but you don't want to sacrifice who you are. That's the trap. Every generation of men faces it in some form. But in 2025, it's deadlier than ever, because now, comfort is everywhere. Delivered to your door, streamed into your mind, designed into your devices. The modern world is built to make you numb. It's not just about laziness. It's about sedation. You're overstimulated yet underchallenged, surrounded by ease yet starving for meaning. And you wonder why you feel restless. Why your ambition feels like it's fading. Why your spirit feels like it's asleep. Because you've been feeding your body comfort while starving your soul of challenge. Pain, struggle, and effort, they're not punishments. They're signals. Proof that you're alive, that something inside you still wants to fight. Men throughout history understood this. The Spartans trained barefoot in the cold. The samurai meditated on death every morning. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship, sleeping on a floor, fasting, walking in the rain, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they knew comfort weakens will. Seneca once said, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" He was teaching men how to master fear, not through avoidance, but through exposure. When you face discomfort voluntarily, you rob it of its power. When you lean into it, you grow stronger. But today's man avoids friction at all costs. He trades potential for peace of mind. He wants to be great, but he doesn't want to feel pain. He wants to be free, but he doesn't want to earn it. He says he's tired, not because life is hard, but because he's forgotten what challenge feels like. When everything comes easy, everything loses meaning. Progress demands friction. Every breakthrough in your life will first appear as discomfort. That's the price of transformation, a kind of internal tearing, where the man you are fights to stay, and the man you could be fights to emerge. The pain you feel when you break routine, when you wake up early, when you resist temptation, that's not punishment. That's progress leaving fingerprints on your soul. So here's your challenge. Practice voluntary discomfort. Once a day, do something hard on purpose. Take a cold shower. Leave your phone at home for a walk. Say no when it's easier to say yes. Fast for a meal. Sit with your boredom. Train when you don't want to. Don't do it for motivation or some aesthetic reward. Do it because it's the only way to stay awake in a world designed to lull you to sleep. Each time you choose discomfort, you reclaim your strength. You prove to yourself that you are not fragile, that you can endure, that you can stand in pain without breaking. That proof becomes armor. The man who is not afraid of discomfort cannot be controlled because he no longer seeks constant pleasure. He lives by principle, not impulse. And this is where real freedom begins. When you stop avoiding pain, life stops controlling you. You stop reacting to every inconvenience like it's a tragedy. You begin to see struggle for what it is: training. The world's resistance is your gym. Every setback is a workout for your will. Every disappointment, every failure, every rejection, that's life shaping you, sharpening you, preparing you. But you must stop running from it. Modern men spend years avoiding discomfort and then wonder why they feel weak. It's because the muscle of resilience atrophies without use. You can't Netflix your way to confidence. You can't scroll your way to self-respect. The only way to earn it is through endurance. To suffer voluntarily, to sweat, to fail, and to rise again. And when you start doing this, something changes in your posture, your voice, your presence. You start to carry yourself differently, not out of arrogance, but out of certainty. You've faced the sting of discomfort and survived it. You've built proof that you can handle life. That's what men used to call grit. That's what you've been missing. Progress doesn't happen in your comfort zone. It happens on the edge of it, in the moments when you want to quit, but you stay. When you want to rest, but you move. When you want to escape, but you endure. Every rep of discomfort expands your capacity for life. It's how you turn fear into fuel. And when the cinematic music builds, when the light hits your face after a long, hard day, you'll realize something profound. All those moments you tried to avoid were the ones that built you. The pain you ran from was the doorway to your strength. The struggle you cursed was the forge that made you unbreakable. So embrace the hard things. Stop worshiping comfort. Stop treating struggle as punishment. Because comfort might make life easier, but discomfort makes you alive. You say you want progress, but you resist the pain that brings it. Stop resisting. Lean in. Because only through pain do you earn peace. Only through struggle do you find strength. Discomfort is your greatest teacher. And every man who learns from it evolves beyond it. You say you want progress, but you resist it. You talk about the man you want to become, stronger, wiser, freer, but deep down, you're waiting for permission. Permission to begin. Permission to believe you're worthy of more. You keep telling yourself you'll start when things settle down, when the timing is right, when you feel ready. But life doesn't hand out permission slips. The longer you wait, the heavier the resistance becomes. This is the final barrier, the invisible wall between thought and action. Every man feels it. That hesitation before sending the message, before starting the project, before walking into the unknown. It's not laziness. It's fear disguised as logic. You tell yourself you need more time, more information, more clarity. But what you really need is courage. Because progress doesn't begin with certainty. It begins with a step. In this modern world, fear wears new masks. It looks like perfectionism, like overthinking, like endless planning. We call it strategy, but it's just delay dressed in productivity. We scroll through motivational content for hours and call it preparation. But deep down, we know what needs to be done. The problem isn't knowledge, it's nerve. It's the willingness to leap before you know where you'll land. The ancient world understood this better than we do. The warrior didn't ask if he was ready for battle. The philosopher didn't wait for ideal conditions to speak truth. The craftsman didn't overthink the first strike of the hammer. They began. They trusted that mastery would reveal itself through motion, not theory. Lao Tzu said, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." It's cliché because it's true, but what most men forget is that it also begins today. Not someday. Not when you feel inspired. No. Modern men are haunted by the illusion of potential. You look at your dreams like they're stored in the cloud somewhere, waiting for you to access them when life finally calms down. But potential is perishable. Every year you wait, the spark dims a little more. You rationalize it away with, "I'm just figuring things out." But deep down, you know you're stalling. You're afraid to risk looking foolish, to fail publicly, to begin imperfectly. Yet that's exactly what every man who ever succeeded had to do. Progress doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for presence. It asks for movement. It asks for you to stop watching and start living. The first draft will be ugly. The first attempt will feel clumsy. The first few steps will test you. But what's worse, failing forward or rotting in place? The pain of trying and falling is temporary. The pain of never trying is eternal. So here's your call to action. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is whenever you decide it is. The world doesn't owe you clarity. It rewards commitment. Take one bold action this week that scares you. Launch the idea. Make the call. Apply for the job. Ask for help. Move toward what you've been postponing. Not because it guarantees success, but because it guarantees growth. If you fail, good. That means you tried. That means you're in motion. Failure is feedback, not a verdict. Every mistake contains a lesson your comfort zone could never teach. And the man who learns faster wins faster, not over others, but over himself. The truth is, resistance never leaves. It just evolves with you. Every new level of life demands a new version of you. You'll always feel fear before doing something meaningful. But fear is not the signal to stop, it's the signal to go. Because if it scares you, it matters. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move anyway. So let's reframe progress one last time. Progress is not about reaching a finish line. It's about becoming the kind of man who moves forward, no matter the terrain. It's about falling, adapting, recalibrating, and continuing. It's about learning to love the process more than the result. The modern world worships outcomes, but the ancient world revered the journey. Because the journey is where the man is made. One day you'll look back on your life and realize the greatest transformation didn't happen in a single moment of victory, but in the countless moments you decided not to give up. The days you showed up tired. The mornings you got out of bed despite the doubt. The nights you stayed focused while others drifted. Those were the moments that built you, quiet choices that no one applauded. So, as this message closes, imagine the camera pulling back. You're standing there, the man who's faced his fear, his reflection, his pain. You've learned that resistance is not your enemy. It's the proving ground of progress. You've realized that every struggle, every hesitation, every small step was never wasted. It was all part of the forging. And when the music swells, when the light breaks through, remember this: progress was never about changing the world. It was about changing yourself. Because when you do, the world around you changes with you. You say you want progress, but you resist it. Now you know the truth. Progress and resistance are one. They dance together. They make you human. So take the step. Whatever it is, however small it seems. Because that single step taken today is how revolutions begin, not in the world, but in the heart of a man who finally decides to move. You say you want progress. Prove it.